Okay, at this time you should have gotten your Thunderbird email client downloaded to your machine, and you just need to set up a little information to get it to work. Now on my screen you can see that I already have a setup, but if I was going to start from new like you are, if I click on create new account, this is the screen that you should be seeing when you start to set it up. So you're just going to go into this mail account setup and type in your name and type in your Mercer Mail email address. So mine is haydene@faculty.mccc.edu, and then I'm going to also put in my password, and I have multiple passwords, just got to make sure I put in the right one. And underneath there's a little checkbox that says remember password, which is a great thing when you have a secure machine. If you're the only one that uses it, then when you log into Mozilla, it just logs into your mail account for you. If you're not on a secure machine, a shared machine where other people have access to it, you might want to uncheck that so that people don't have direct access to your mail account. Now, once you get that information in, you're just going to click on continue. It does a search for your incoming and outgoing mail servers, and mine happened really quick because it was part of a system that was already set up. Yours will probably take a little longer, but less than a minute, probably less than half a minute to find these servers, and it should be the same as mine because you're going to go to your Mercer Mail. It's an imap.googlemail.com incoming mail server and an smtp.googlemail.com outgoing server. And once you're done and you continue to create this screen, again, mine's already set up, so I don't have to go further than that, but you'll hit create and it will go through a search of your Mercer Mail information, and it will download and copy the emails over so that you can read them right through the Thunderbird email client. Once that is finished, you'll see a setup much like this. Now I'm going to collapse this back because initially this is what you would see. The top line is going to show you your email address, haydene@faculty.mccc.edu for me. And if you click on the arrow to the left hand side, it'll open up and show all your different mailboxes that you have set up. Now, what I would like you to do once you get this up and running is just send me a quick email to let me know that it worked. So click on the right button and it'll open up a regular email box where you can type in an address, and I'm going to put in again my own. I'm just sending myself a message right now, haydene@faculty.mcc.edu, and the subject is going to be Thunderbird. And just a quick message, Yahoo, it worked. So I know that it worked. You don't really have to give me a lot. If you had problems or anything, you want to throw them in there, or if you thought it was really great after playing around with it, let me know that too. You can even add a little smiley face if it worked real well, a frown if you didn't like it so much. I'm just going to put in a little cool icon because I think it's a pretty cool system, and just send the message. So that's your requirement, and you can see it's processing, sending it to googlemail.com. And notice my inbox, it was 2 before. If you saw it, now it's got 3. So I know I got a new email in there, and that's your requirement, is to send me an email letting me know it worked. Now, there's a lot of other things you can do with the mail system. I do want you to go around and play around with it and try and get comfortable with it. I will show you one more item, which is the address book, and if I click on that, you can see I've already set up myself as a contact. If I want to set up another new contact, I can go in here. Actually, what I'm going to do is just delete myself for now and add myself back in. So I'll click on new contact, and I'll put in, Ed Hayden. Hit caps lock there. And you can put in different things. The display name is just a combination of the first and last name. I'm not going to put a nickname or anything. I am going to go back in and type in my Haydene at faculty.mccc.edu for my mail. And you can put in other information, different phone numbers, the address information on the next tab over for private, and even as, for birthday and year and age in there. Work information, other generic categories for anything you might want to fill in, and even a slot for photos if you want to upload something. So there's a lot of info you can really build up contacts for. I'm sticking with the basics for now, just so we can have one in there really quick. And I'm going to click on OK, and you can see it puts it back in here. And if I click on it twice, it'll open up an edit screen, and I can go back through the same settings that I just showed you. I'm going to close that out. If you just leave it highlighted, click it once, you can see at the bottom window it'll display the contact information and a link to the email address. And if you click on that, it'll open up your send box, and it's already pre-addressed. So you don't have to keep going and typing this in all the time. So you can play around with that. You can create mailing lists. If you have multiple contacts, you can group them together in lists. So there's a lot of things you can do. So again, this was just a quick run through with Thunderbird client. I know you all use emails, so you're familiar with most of the general ins and outs of sending emails, but take a look at this one, see if there's anything you like. Again, you are required to send me an email to haydene@faculty.mcc.edu to let me know it worked, and I hope to hear good stuff from you.
Welcome to Camtasia Studio 7. If you're new to Camtasia Studio and you want to get started quickly, you're in the right place. We encourage you to watch this 5-minute video to learn the basics of using the editor, including how to navigate the timeline, make some basic edits, and add special effects. The preview window is where you see the video during playback. The playback controls are located under the preview window. In fact, the video you're watching in the preview window is a sample project playing directly from the timeline you see below. After you watch this video, we hope you take some time to practice what you've learned using the content on the timeline. So let's start with the timeline. This is where you assemble and edit your videos. At the top of the timeline, tick marks represent time in terms of minutes and seconds. When building a video, you'll work in a horizontal manner, beginning from the left and moving sequentially through time towards the right. To make precise cuts and selection, use the zoom slider to magnify the view of the timeline. And when adding elements to your video, such as a call-out or audio clips, these are placed on different tracks. Tracks are created automatically, when you need them, when elements are added to the timeline. So depending on your video, you may be working with several tracks at one time. To change the position of an element on the timeline, just drag it. To change the length of an element, drag the edges in either direction. An important part of the timeline is the playhead. The playhead moves the timeline and indicates the current frame displayed in the preview window. To view your video, click play in the preview window. Notice how the video and the timeline's playhead stay in sync? Click anywhere on the timeline and the playhead moves to that point. The green section of the playhead is called the in point. Click and drag the in point to make the beginning of a selection. The red section of the playhead is called the out point. Just click and drag the out point to make the end of a selection. To bring the sections of the playhead back together, double-click the gray playhead. To split a video clip, position the playhead at the desired location and click the split button. And if you want to remove a portion of your video, make a selection with the in and out points, then click the cut button. If you make a mistake while editing, click the undo button. Next, we'll look at the clip bin and the library. The clip bin holds recordings, audio files, images, and title slides being used in the project you're currently working on. Then there's the library. It stores video clips, intros, callouts, title slides, and other elements that you want to use from project to project. The library is also pre-populated with professional animations, music, sound effects, and other content you can use in your video for free. To add your own clips or video sequences to the library, make a selection on the timeline, right-click, and choose Add to Library. To include clips and other elements in your video, drag them from the clip bin or library and drop them onto the timeline. The tabs located above the timeline are task pages used for adding and editing special effects. You can add callouts to emphasize a key point. You can insert a transition between clips for a professional look. Apply zoom and pan effects to focus on important details. And draw attention to the cursor by changing the color, size, and more. If you double-click an element on a track, the playhead moves to the beginning of that element, and its task page opens, allowing you to make edits to that element. So we've shown you a few ways you can navigate and edit your video, but how do you get content into your video? Well, to make a new screen recording, click the Record Screen button. If you already have an audio or video recording to use, click the Import Media button. When you've made edits and added effects to your video and you're ready to share it, you need to produce the project to create a shareable video. Click the Produce and Share button, step through the wizard, and Camtasia Studio creates a viewer-friendly, shareable MP4 file ready to upload to screencast.com, your blog, or a website. Well, it's time for you to try Camtasia Studio out for yourself using the content on the timeline. The help file in Camtasia Studio will help you use each of the Camtasia Studio features and applications. The Learning Center on TechSmith.com has in-depth video tutorials and other sample projects to download and practice with. So we hope you enjoy Camtasia Studio. And happy screencasting!